Good news can often get overlooked or buried by the negative in our everyday lives. So let's change that. I'm Adriana.
And I'm Wyatt.
We're just two ordinary people without any special qualifications or anything, trying to navigate life. We invite you to join us as we share wholesome stories, news articles of hope, and ideas about how we can all make the world just a little bit brighter. We are Uplifting Positive Stories. Welcome back to another episode of Uplifting Positive Stories. Thanks for joining us, everybody.
It's good to be back. It feels like it's been a bit because we sometimes batch record these.
Yes.
And we had a vacation a little bit ago, so we had like several weeks recorded out to
in
be
advance.
able to make sure that we weren't falling behind and stuff. So it's been a little bit for us, even though for you listeners, it might have just been 1 week.
Yeah, we went to Alaska.
We did.
Which was really, really cool.
Mm-hmm.
We got to see a glacier, which was super cool. We got to see a lot of beautiful like whitecap mountains.
Mm-hmm.
We saw a whale breach, which was really cool. Briefly, randomly out there on the water. So that was super cool.
Mm-hmm. Took a train ride through the White Pass near Skagway.
Yeah.
That was really cool.
That was super pretty. A lot of really cool views. And yeah, it was really fun.
Yeah, and then it went from a relaxing trip, granted a little cold up there at times, to crazy busy because we're in the middle of our busy wedding season. For those who are not regulars, we're wedding videographers by trade, and it's definitely our busy season right now.
Yes.
So it's kind of thrown right back into the busy part of the season.
Yeah.
And the hot part, it is hot in here right now. Holy crap, as we're recording this.
Man, it's like for us, like it's been weird weather-wise, and I know we talk about weather a lot, and I apologize, but
because
like
it's a hot topic in Minnesota.
Yeah, it's been like 60s, and then all of a sudden, randomly today, it's like 85 degrees, and we're like, whoa, what's going on?
And we have to turn off the AC and fans and stuff during podcast recording
because
they make noise. So if we look a little sweaty on the video, that might be
on
why.
YouTube. Yeah, sorry in advance.
Listeners, I don't think you can hear our sweat, but it's there.
Oh boy. Well, today's episode is all about offering a helping hand. So all about stories where somebody went out of their way to offer help to somebody in need. So there are a bunch of very sweet stories. A lot of them today come from the subreddit Random Acts of Kindness, which is a great subreddit. There's just so many great stories on there. So if you're ever looking for just a little boost and a little pick-me-up, that's a great place to start on Reddit for sure. There's so many good stories. So our first one, like I said, comes from that subreddit, and it is titled, Helped a Stranger Find Her Way Home. Not sure if this belongs in this sub. It does. It's a good story. All right, here we go.
Liking some confidence there. We can work on that.
I was driving home from work, got off near midnight on my usual route, a residential road to a more commonly used 4-lane, 40-mile-per-hour road, then on another unimportant to this tale roads, lol. On that second road, I was confused to see a car pulled over in the entrance to a lot. No flashers, but headlights on, just sitting there. I slowed down, but drove past. Then I saw the red and blue lights ahead. The road that I've taken home every night was shut down due to a crime scene, an officer informed me. He told me I'd have to find another route, to just U-turn anywhere. So I did. I was going half the speed limit back to that residential road to take another route. My plan was to take the original route to the highway and get off at my exit, which would have been the quickest alternative. However, that marooned car honked at me, and I would have kept driving if a woman, obviously on the verge of tears, hadn't hollered out the window asking for help. I had my windows down, always do, and asked how I could help. She named a road that was conveniently on my way home. She said that she was new to the area and didn't know any alternative routes. I told her that I was going to that road, let's call it Main Street, and that she could follow me on the highway. She immediately panicked and said she didn't do highways and was there another route. So I ended up letting a stranger follow me down a much longer, slower route down residential roads, never going more than 35 miles per hour to get to Main Street. Took me a bit out of the way, but also not really. Like, I didn't use the quickest route, but I still ended up on Main Street, which took me home. But I feel really proud of myself for being a good Samaritan to a woman who was obviously lost and panicking, despite having someone familiar on the phone with her, understandably in case I was a serial killer, lol. I'm gonna ride this self-satisfied wave for days, lol. I legit feel like such a good person right now, and I just wanted to share. Moral of the story, if the road you're driving home on is blocked off by cops, stop and help the honking car get home if it's not out of your way, I guess. Thanks for reading. Yeah.
Yeah, and kudos to them for not being judgmental either.
Right.
Because I don't know, for me, as someone who drives a lot, like, really, you can't do the highway? Like,
but everyone has different thresholds for comfortability.
And like, they didn't really express any level of judgment or like, or annoyance at that, you know? They're just like, all right, I'll do it. And then accommodated and was super helpful.
Right. And especially, it sounds like it was at night too. So, like, some people don't like driving because, yeah, I got off near midnight. So it's late at night. Some people don't really like driving at night, especially, like, I'm not, obviously, I don't know if this is the case for this woman, but sometimes people have, I think it's called astigmatism, where, like, lights from cars and stuff look super blurry and it can be really hard to see. Like, I know some people personally
police car
that are worried to go on highways late at night because of that, going at a high speed like that, not being able to see super great. So who knows what was the situation here? You never know what the predicament is or why they don't, but like you said, it's cool that they didn't judge and that they were just like, okay, sure, it's gonna put me a little out of my way, but I'm gonna do it because it's a nice thing to do.
Well, it sounded like they were pretty calm throughout it all, especially even while this woman was like by their description in a panic. So they're kind of able to be like a stable force as they're navigating the situation.
Yep. Just a cool way to, I don't know, help out somebody in need in an easy way. It didn't take it too much out of their way. So,
right.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, like, it was an easy one to be like safe in regards to,
right, you're in
like,
separate cars.
It doesn't sound like anyone got out of their car.
No, they just rolled down their windows and she just followed them. It sounds like that's pretty simple, which is cool. Yeah.
Not that that's a requirement to be helpful, but that makes it even like the
even
barrier
easier.
of entry is decreased.
Right. Exactly. What was the worst that's going to happen? You maybe get home a few minutes later than you would have. You know.
Yeah.
Not that big of a deal. All right, on to our next story. This one comes from that same subreddit, Random Acts of Kindness, and it is titled, "Thank you, Burger King Dude. I really needed that today."
Burger King Dude.
Burger King Dude.
Like it. Not sponsored.
To the guy working the drive-thru at the Burger King in Stillwater, Oklahoma, thank you. I came through the drive-thru this evening and I was bawling, like ugly cry bawling. When we got to the window, you offered me a crown. I'm old as heck, and you offered me a crown. My boyfriend was driving the car, but you looked at me and offered me a crown. This has been one of the saddest days of my life for real, but you offered me a crown. I know that seems small, but it meant everything to me. I couldn't even tell you thank you because I couldn't form words. I doubt you will ever see this or know how much it meant to me, but thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah.
I want more context of like, why'd they give him a crown? Like,
well, they saw them crying, so they were like, here's a little pick-me-up. They saw him bawling in the seat, and so they passed him a crown.
How old is OP?
They said that they're old as heck.
Right, I know, but like, does that mean like they're in their 60s, 70s? Does that
Who
mean
knows?
they're self-proclaimed old like me at age 30?
No. You're not old. But no, I mean, it's just a little thing, and it was just a sweet gesture. Because again, we've talked about this in other podcasts too. Like, sometimes in your job, there's not a lot you can offer, but at BK, it might be that they can give out those crowns. Like, that's just a free thing that they have. And like, I don't know if they like this or not, but it can't hurt. So here you go. Maybe a little bit of whimsy will make you feel a little bit better.
I mean, who knows? I mean, from what we've experienced working in a movie theater, they inventory everything. Who knows what Burger King does or not.
I think they hand them out to pretty much whoever.
Maybe. I don't know. I mean, it's a nice gesture no matter what. Yeah. I'm just saying that it might just be an extra. I'm saying it could be an extra level of kindness by the person in that situation, you know?
It's just sweet and thoughtful and clearly meant a lot to the person. So
yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. The impact sounds like it was quite significant, even if it was, you know, a relatively simple gesture.
Yeah. Little things. All right, on to our next subreddit here. This one comes from the subreddit Heartwarming. Here's the story. It's titled, "A Mistaken Message Led to Unexpected Kindness." And this is a screenshot. It doesn't say where the screenshot was taken from, so not really sure, but it's a super cute story. All right. Still brings tears to my eyes thinking about this simple act of kindness. I've never really used my Facebook account for a few different reasons, but a couple of years ago, a guy with the same first and last name as myself contacted me through Facebook Messenger. He lived several hundred miles away from me in a different state. He told me that my grandmother, who has dementia, had recently made a Facebook account and had mistakenly added him thinking he was me. She was upset because I had moved so far away without telling her. Not actually, but thought the guy that did.
Yeah.
After failed attempts of explaining to her that she had messaged the wrong guy, he realized that she might have Alzheimer's. Instead of just ignoring her and forgetting about the confusion, he took the time to find me, her actual grandson, and let me know what was going on. He told her that he would be moving back soon and not to worry. But even more unbelievable is that the guy was kind enough to not ignore some random elderly woman and be brokenhearted. Yeah. Isn't that sweet?
That's an easy one to ignore, too, in terms of
right. You might not even think it's fake because they're like, you know, like, no, you're my grandson. Like, you might honestly think that it's just like somebody trying to like I don't know, there's weird hackers out there that are trying to get phishing scams and stuff. It's so weird. But so he could have easily been like, this is weird. I don't know. I'm not going to respond, and just deleted it. But to go the extra mile to track down the other person that has the same name and look through their friends list and be like, is this woman friends with them? Like through the mutual friends and stuff. I guess it probably would be easy because we have one mutual friend or something with the person, but still.
You never know. I mean, there's so many, I guess it depends on the name. There's some people out there that have so many different I know I've tried to look at people and like, oh gosh, there's like
30 people.
30 of them or something, or I don't know.
Yeah. So, I don't know, but it's just very, very thoughtful to help her out in a way that they could. And that was easy enough because clearly, like, they're like, okay, clearly something's going on. They're not understanding when I'm trying to explain to them, like, you have the wrong person. So I'm going to go a roundabout way to fix this. I'm like, that's really cool. So, yeah.
Unexpected plot twist. What if it actually was their grandparent, and it's like learning like about their new history or something. I don't know. I'm just putting in like, this is like a
plot twist
Netflix documentary, like a separated birth kind of thing. I don't know.
All right, on to our next story. This one comes from the subreddit Ask Reddit, and the question is, what is the nicest thing you've done? And this was one of the responses. When I was 16, I worked at a law firm downtown as a summer intern. Every day, I'd go get lunch from this row of vendors, either a gyro, a hot dog, a kebab, or a burrito. Each one only took cash, so I got used to carrying around a bunch of cash. And every day, I'd pay for my meal, take all the change I got and anything in my pockets, and give it to a local homeless guy named Ivan. I'd also just say, "Hi, Ivan," or "Nice seeing you, man," or something along those lines. Ivan was a mid-20s black guy who had fought in Iraq, but had some severe PTSD and had run away from whatever family and friends he had and moved a few hundred miles to upstate New York. He was generally nice, but quiet, and obviously in a very bad place in his mind. He had a giant, raggedy beard, clothes that he had obviously just picked off the street, and I can't remember if I ever saw him in any position other than a mixture of the fetal position and a squat. I gave him change every day that summer until I had to go back to school. Now, the story diverges here, and two very important outcomes arise. First, about 2 months into this job, I stop by the gyro vendor, order my usual, and chat until he finishes it. I pull out my wallet only to realize I don't have any cash. I apologize and I run to the nearest ATM, but for some reason, my bank changed my PIN without informing me and I'm unable to withdraw cash.
What the heck?
I come back looking resigned to not eating lunch, but the Euro guy says, "Look, I see what you do for Ivan every day. Just take it. You deserve it." I thank him profusely and I walk off very happy. That's the first part. Secondly, I recently went back to town for the summer and I was eating lunch at a diner I always frequented in high school. I was talking to a friend when I heard a voice behind me say, "Excuse me, do you remember me?" I turned to look, and a tall, well-groomed man in business casual clothes is standing next to my booth. I looked him up and down a few times before it clicked, and I said, "Ivan? Really?" He looked at me, eyes shining as it clicked, and as I stood up to shake his hand, he moved and embraced me. I could tell he was on the verge of crying, and all he said was "thank you." Apparently, in the intervening 5 years since I had seen him last, Ivan collected himself enough to get a job as a janitor. This in turn gave him the money to see a therapist, and he worked out many of his mental problems. He began sorting his life out, took advantage of his GI Bill, and worked his way up to a position at a local bank where he actually had people working for him.
Oh, wow.
He told me that he had been at his lowest that summer when I saw him every day, and that he frequently thought of just sitting around and waiting for the end. However, the fact that I paid attention to him reminded him that there was still some good in the world, and the money I gave him allowed him to buy at least one meal a day to subsist upon. He told me that were it not for me, he most likely wouldn't even be close to the position he was in. We talked for half an hour until he had to go back to work, and he once again hugged me before he left. I sat at the table for another 10 minutes with my friend, unable to speak because the tears leaking out of my eyes clouded my vision and were unfortunately soaking my sandwich. Ivan never knew my name, and he still doesn't. I like to think that he never will, and that he'll just remember that once upon a time, a young man behaved like a true human being.
Man,
yeah,
that's an uplifting story.
Right?
Proving that it's okay to give homeless people cash sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes
I know some people aren't comfortable with that. That's been discussed in this podcast before. But this is proof, at least an example of a situation where it worked out.
Right. And in some ways, even more than that, just the recognition. Being, "Hi, Ivan. Hey, man, how you doing?" Like, acknowledging him. Like, that clearly, he said that made a huge impact on him by reminding him that there was still people that cared out there. that still were good people.
Because make no mistake here, Ivan did all the real work. Like Ivan's the one who had to like pick himself up and get a job,
go to a therapist,
get a therapist, and like he made all those steps. And you look at that, how much money he was probably given, probably doesn't even amount to anything close to being able to achieve any of those things. But it's that support and that push that like can help
lift
someone up out of complete depression,
right?
Whatever
and then
it was they were dealing
give them
with.
the tools then themselves to go seek actual help that they really need, like therapy. Yeah, super awesome.
We've just seen in the last story what like the paper crown can do for somebody,
right.
Even if it's not like on paper that amazing, like tangible thing that helps you, but it does in a very emotional, mental, maybe even spiritual kind of way.
Right.
And this is, just little acts of kindness here and there, acknowledgement of your existence.
Right. Gives you hope. Yeah. Very cool story. All right, on to our next one here. This one also comes from the subreddit Ask Reddit. And the question was, what are random acts of kindness you have seen? And this is what someone responded. One time, in high school, my mother and I were shopping at a local Walmart. As we were standing in line, she noticed the family in front of us had a literal crap ton of groceries. Mainly a lot of food, baby food, diapers, formula, wipes, clothing, etc. They needed all of it though. The wife was holding a newborn child. I mean, just out of the hospital newborn. I didn't know at the time, but now that I think about it, after working in the L&D department of a hospital for 2 years, this was a very young baby, maybe 2 to 4 weeks. There were also 3 other young kids with them, not one of them over the age of 6. The father was just standing there watching the groceries add up on the screen. He looked more somber with every purchase the clerk added up. My mom noticed something wasn't right with the mother. She did not look well. Her eyes had large bags under them and were very dark, and her skin was unnaturally pale. It was then that my mother saw the hospital wristband on her arm. This woman had just left the hospital that day. And with the newborn in her arms, she put 2 and 2 together to come up with the most logical conclusion. My mother is also a nurse practitioner. When the clerk finally revealed the total, the couple just looked at each other. The father put his cash away and took out a card and swiped it. It was declined. He felt really embarrassed because there were 3 other people behind us, so he swapped it with another card that was also declined. At this point, the couple looked so defeated. That was when my mom, without skipping a beat, walked up, scanned our milk and eggs, and swiped her card on the machine. Both of them had looks of disbelief on their face, and my mom looked at the father and said, "Now you make sure she gets some bed rest immediately." He just nodded while on the verge of tears. It was seriously like an Oprah moment. Everyone was about to cry. Then we just left. I remember telling my mom how awesome that was. I realized this isn't that big of a deal to buy groceries for someone, but seeing how big of an effect it had on that couple is the reason why this story just came to my mind. Yeah.
Yeah, anything helps, especially when you're,
right?
It sounds like a newborn and such, and
yeah, 100%.
That's an expensive process,
right? Yeah, and I mean, it sounds like the mother was, having some issues too, possibly postpartum that were, and so like, and for her mom to recognize that and be like, you need to make sure she gets rest and stuff like that on top of it, like, and on top of doing that super kind act and stuff, like, huge for that family. Gave them what they needed from the store, and then also like, yeah, just really, really awesome, because that sounds rough.
Yeah,
so.
But it's a small thing, but it helps a lot.
Right, getting formula and baby food, and it sounds like everything that they needed that they didn't have for this newborn. So yeah, huge. All right, on to our news article for today. I really like this news article. I think it's super cool. Okay. So this one is from the IndianEagle.com, and it is titled, I'm sorry if I mispronounced the name, Meet Chazavi Manaj, an Indian American prodigy whose app helps senior citizens beat cyber scams.
Okay, that's a real issue out there for sure.
Right, yeah. I mean, not even just for seniors. Like, it's a huge issue just in general. There's so many cyber scams out there. We've even had a couple that were like close calls where we were like, wait a second, this is very fishy.
We've gone the wide. We get a lot. We've gone the range of very obvious. So obvious that it's hilarious, and we have to read them to people because it's so funny. But other ones that are like, wait, they were so close to being like real, genuine, like inquiries or something. For
like before we go on to the story, like there was one time where we were asked to sell a table for somebody, and
oh yeah, that one too.
We randomly got a message on Facebook being like, "Hey, my husband's really interested in buying the table, and he lives not too far away from where you guys are, apparently. So could he text you about getting the table from you? We're like, sure, yeah. So I took their number and stuff, and I text them, and I'm like, hey, are you interested? Like, your wife said you were. And they're like, yeah, for sure. Is it okay if I Venmo you? And I'm like, yeah, for sure. That's perfect. And then they're like, actually, I can't Venmo you because I have a business account and I can't send a business account to a personal account unless you do a verification thing.
For the record, you can.
Yes,
Fortunately,
you
we have a
can.
business Venmo account, so I was able to immediately look at him like, that's not true. I can do that.
That is not a thing. But I was like, red flags went off, and I was like, that's sus. So I Google it, and first thing that pops up is about Venmo scams. And immediately they're like, yeah, so what happens is they have your phone number already because you're texting them. They ask for your email address, and then they send you a verification looking email from Venmo. That's not actually from Venmo, but it looks like it's from Venmo in all accounts. And then you click on the link on that, and it's a phishing scam, and they can get into your stuff that way. Super scary. So we immediately blocked the number, and we were like, no, that's done. But it's important to be vigilant out there. And unless you have like experience knowing about this stuff or are taught about these things, most people don't know what to look for and what could be fishy or sketchy. And especially this article here points out that it's not common for people that are out of working age, that are retired, to have this knowledge because they're not getting these trainings. When a lot of people are in school and stuff like that, they're being taught in classes like what to look for in terms of being smart on the internet and stuff because they're all on the internet at school, so they don't want them looking on weird sites or having anything sketchy happen in the school emails or anything like that, not clicking on any bad links. And then when you're in jobs, they want to protect the corporate and the company, so they're sending out stuff about be aware of phishing scams that are going around. This is what to look for. Don't click on any weird emails. Like, they're sending out stuff. But people that are retired don't always get that information, and so they don't know what to look for, and they don't know this is a thing sometimes even. So according to the article, nearly 75% of adults over 65 didn't understand basic cybersecurity practices like two-factor authentication. And this is crazy. In 2024, cyber criminals stole over $3 billion from older adults in the U.S., an average of $33,915 per person.
Wow.
Yet only 1 in 5 victims reported the crime to authorities because many victims had no idea how to protect themselves or whom to ask for help.
Wow. So
crazy statistics. So the bright side of this teenager, this 16-year-old, her family immigrated from India. They now live in Texas. And she had this idea because her grandpa, someone tried to scam him online, and she found out about it, had this idea of trying to create an app that's AI powered to help the older generations learn about this stuff and be able to even plug in things and be like, hey, I just got this weird email. Does this seem like a scam? And the AI engines in her app can tell them, hey, that does seem sketchy. Don't click that link. Or actually, this is a safe thing. So, her 85-year-old grandfather had almost fallen for an online scam. He received a message asking for a money transfer. It was a phishing attempt. Tajavi was very surprised that her grandpa didn't know or didn't recognize that seemed fraudulent because it seemed kind of obvious to her and her parents. So that's what kind of sparked this in her. Both of her parents are software engineers, and so they helped her to create this. Yeah, it was super cool. And what's really awesome is she actually discovered her love for coding to begin with in her middle school through programs like Girls Who Code. So they had programs for girls, and that's how she got really into it and helped her to build this app. It's now in its demo stage. It offers 4 main features. So I'm going to quote the article directly on this one because it's a lot of cool info. So the Learn section offers easy, jargon-free information on staying safe online and spotting scams. If users come across a suspicious email, message, or website, they can turn to the Ask feature and get quick answers from the chatbot. So they can kind of be like, hey, this seems kind of sus. Is this actually sketchy? And then the chatbot will tell them whether they think it's sketchy or not. Mm-hmm. The Analyze tool lets them upload screenshots of messages, which the AI reviews to flag anything as unsafe. And in the Help section, step-by-step guides and FAQs walk users through everything they need to know. Yeah, what's really cool is as she's been developing this, she actually goes to older adults in her community and has them try it out and give her feedback on how to make it more user-friendly for them, how to make the interface less intimidating, and trying to make it easily accessible because she'd love it to be pre-installed on phones of people that are older in the older generations. So that they can immediately have access to it when they get their phones. Because sometimes that's another barrier to access is knowing how to download apps and stuff too. So yeah, a few other things. She's received an honorable mention in the 2024 Congressional App Challenge.
Oh, wow.
She presented this to AARP. And then she was even introduced to entrepreneurial TV shows like Shark Tank.
Oh, is it on Shark Tank?
I don't know. I thought we were caught up, but maybe
we
aren't.
haven't watched in a bit, so maybe
she's on there. We haven't.
I was gonna say
this
sounds like it should be on Shark Tank.
That's
but maybe
what I thought too.
It was.
Like, this is genius. I
check.
wonder if she was funded. We like Shark Tank a lot, so.
But we haven't watched in a bit, so maybe.
So now I'm really curious.
It's like we come and go in waves with Shark Tank.
It's true. It's true. But yeah, I just thought that was super, super cool, and what an awesome idea of seeing a problem and trying to help people out that maybe don't know how to get that kind of information or get that help, not knowing who to ask. I mean, the fact that only, one in five victims reported the crime when they were scammed out of money because 4 out of 5 of them didn't even know who to contact. Like, there's just not a lot of accessible information out there for them. So having this as an easily accessible way to learn about this stuff and way to check on stuff when they're unsure is super awesome. Yeah. Really cool. Very smart. And I hope that it keeps going and gets past the demo stage. I think that's really, really cool.
And hopefully it's able to keep up with the evolving landscape of scamming.
Yeah, true. But yeah, with that, we will end today's podcast episode. A couple of little things too. So we actually, and I apologize to anybody that's bummed by this, we are going to be moving to a bi-weekly podcast instead of weekly. As we mentioned at the beginning of this podcast, we are in our busy season. We have weddings like every weekend that we're filming and trying to keep up with that and life and social stuff and trying to keep a good work-life balance is important to us. And so we're just foreseeing it getting even crazier as we keep going into this wedding season. And we think it'd be best to move to a bi-weekly just to make sure we keep finding great content for you guys.
Hopefully not forever, but we'll have to wait and see how things kind of shake out and play out. And hopefully you're still able to stay with us and keep up with it. And if you're new to the podcast, there's a lot of other episodes up until this point that you can get your fill on. But if you're been with us since the beginning, we hope that you stay with us and can be a little patient with us as we try to, get to the next episode.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. So in a couple weeks here, our next episode is going to be stories that hit us in the feels. So I got a couple stories that made me tear up a little reading them. So I'm excited to share them with y'all. It's going to be a lot of cool stories. And yeah, if you have any positive stories out there, please send them to us. It helps us out a ton. It helps us have some awesome content from you guys to be able to share on here. You can send them to us at upliftingpositivestories@gmail.com, and that would be super, super appreciated.
And if you're watching YouTube, please hit that like and subscribe button or leave a comment. And if you're wherever you're listening, please leave us a review, share it around. Your support means the world to us. And anything you can do to help, if you're enjoying it, please help spread the word, and that'll help us keep going.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Thanks so much for joining us, everybody, and please have a wonderful rest of your week.
And stay positive.